Hey, everybody, this is Dominic Rivkin, your mission and ministry executive for the Pacific Southwest District. And I'll tell you, my devotion this morning, I didn't really get past the first couple of words of this first verse from Matthew chapter 20, where Jesus says, "We're going up to Jerusalem." And I could already start to feel it a little bit in my chest and, my throat get a little tight and thinking about what was going to happen there in Jerusalem. And Jesus is clear. He says exactly what's going to happen. The Son of Man will be delivered into the hands of the chief priests and the teachers of the law, and they will condemn him to death and hand him over to the Gentiles to be mocked and flogged and crucified. Um, and we know that it's coming. We know that Holy Week is almost upon us next week, where we'll walk that path with Jesus to the cross, right? Uh, but what's beautiful is at the end of that verse, Jesus says, on the third day, he will be raised to life. And we know that's coming too. Easter is coming. Regardless of COVID, regardless of anything, Easter is coming. And we have a God who raises up from the dead, raised up his only son that we could have life, and raises up his church to proclaim that life. And proclaiming that life on Easter is exactly what the world needs. So I just wanted to take the time to do a brief video to talk specifically about Easter Sunday. And we decided to tap some experts on this that are doing an amazing job already in broadcasting their worship services and connecting with their church. We're going to speak with Pastor Drew Ross and worship leader Chris Peterson from Christ Lutheran Church in Costa Mesa. And they're going to tell us a little bit about what's happening there at Christ and really what they're focused on for Easter. So want to go ahead and welcome to Pastor Drew and to Chris. Why don't you tell us what's going on over at Christ?
Excellent. Thanks so much for even inviting us to be a part of this. So you can see my name is Drew. There's Chris on here as well. What's going on at Christ is probably very similar to many of you, where we're trying to figure everything out day by day. We're having a lot of fun doing it. And I think that one of the things that we had to realize early on is that our plans are going to change all the time. So we keep making plans and then they break. And in one way, it could be discouraging. And we've tried to train our minds to say, let's not be discouraged. Instead, let's just seek more and more opportunities. So we've been running the gamut with Easter and what's coming up, but we are going to be doing all of the services, Monday, Thursday, Good Friday, and Easter. And one of the resources that we have at Christ in Costa Mesa is live streaming. Thankfully, we have some of the resources and tools to be able to do that. So we are using live streaming as the major tool in order to accomplish most of our services.
Awesome. And are you using like a Facebook Live? Is that your tool or?
Yeah, so we connect our live streaming right to our
Mhm.
website, and then
Okay.
also via Facebook Live.
Okay.
So what's easy to do, so hopefully many people are starting to catch on to this, is as we are able to Facebook Live, we're trying to get our congregation members then to share that as well. Because it's
Mm.
so easy to do. All they have to do is click share, and then really what you're doing in your congregation is exponentially shared with a whole lot more people. So yes, definitely Facebook Live is a major tool for us.
Yeah, I know. And part of our conversation, we were talking about your quote unquote attendance, right? I mean, it's just skyrocketed through that live streaming. What kind of things are you seeing on the analytics, Chris?
So an average worship Sunday, people were just using this as a tool as they were out of town and they wanted to
Hmm.
stay connected with Christ Lutheran, and we were only going to our website, and so we made it easy for them to still connect. And an average Sunday was about 100 to 120 people would tune in around the West Coast, I'd say. And over these past 4 weeks, we have just absolutely skyrocketed to 11,000 views over the past 4 weeks
Oh,
just this morning,
wow.
with about 5,000 unique viewers. So basically, if you were to log on once or twice, that could count as a view. But
Mhm.
if a unique viewer would be a new device that is logged in over the past 4 weeks. So not only 11,000 views, but really 5,000 new devices have logged on to watch. And if we're really thinking about this, families, because they're getting together to watch, they're
Mhm.
watching, 2, 3, 4, 5, however many is in their household. And that device is only counting as one. So, I mean, it's actually even more than those 11,000 views, and that even more than those 5,000 unique viewers. But we've got people tuning in all over the country, and so that's really been a blessing to have people connect with us in that way.
Wow, that's just amazing. I remember as being a pastor of a congregation, we'd be expectantly waiting for Easter to see what that Easter bump was going to be. You know, how many more people would come? Would it be more than last year? But this gives us a tremendous opportunity, like you said, to exponentially increase the reach of our congregation, of the message of the gospel, which I imagine that's what it's all about for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, what we've been trying to do is within the service itself of live streaming, one of the hard pieces of live streaming a service, as everybody is starting to see too, is that people will tune into videos for only a short amount of time.
Hmm.
So we're trying to make adjustments within the service that will encourage people to stay connected longer. We're doing things like shorter songs. If we're doing a hymn, instead of doing 4 verses, we're doing 1 or 2 verses. Everybody's ready with their next piece so that there can really be no dead time on the camera. Dead time on a camera feels, 10 times longer than if you were there in person. So we're trying to modify the services in that way. We're also having to be careful too with even the use of language, making
Hmm.
sure that as we speak, we're not only speaking to people as if they were in the room, realizing people are all over, also thinking about different time zones. So
Mm.
regularly, if I am sharing a time, I'm having to say that this is Pacific time,
Yeah.
because we
Hmm.
know that there are people tuning in from all over the country or even other parts of the world. Even time references too. If
Mm.
you say something like this evening or tonight, well, they might actually be watching your video the next day or
Yep.
the following week. So
Hmm.
therefore, your information isn't accurate. So we're working as a team regularly to figure out what's some of the language tools we need to use to keep people engaged as long as possible.
Yeah, and this is only the stuff you can learn as you go, right? I mean, you're
Hmm.
building the plane as it's flying and you're putting all the pieces together and making sure that everything makes sense. And there's such a wide variety of people watching, and they may only catch a small portion of what you're doing. And is the proclamation of the gospel the clearest it can be in those spaces and in those times?
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really awesome. So, what else will Easter specifically look like? I mean, that's really what we're talking about now. It is a foregone conclusion now, at least in the Pacific Southwest District. If you're watching from us, is our 3 states of California, Arizona, and now Nevada are all on shelter-in-place orders. So there will be no public gatherings for Easter of any significant size. So, what is this going to look like for you guys?
So we had to, as we were saying before, we had to change plans multiple
Hmm.
times. We tried to be creative. Could we get people to gather in safe ways in their cars? Could we do this? And we eventually had to rule all of that out for the good of our people in order to really follow the orders of the laws of our land, trying to keep people safe. So for us, it looks like this. We're going to be doing the worship services live streamed as if people were able to be there, but they just won't. It'll be live streamed. But the real work for us is trying to figure out how to get people connected. So not just so that they watch, but how can we give people the feeling that we're still real people, we're still out here, we're still thinking about you. We've been using the language a lot of breaking the script. It comes from a great book by Chip and Dan Heath called The Power of Moments. Breaking the script means everybody has a script in their life. Everybody has a script for every day. Even if they're going to church, this is the script of how the day works. But memories are made when you break the script.
Hmm.
So we believe that a memory is going to be made, that even though we have to shut down our Easter egg hunt, we're going to put together some sort of little packet for children. Maybe it's going to have some Easter eggs, and it's going to have an Easter gift, and it's certainly going to have a note from us, an Easter note from us, and we're going to drop it off on their doorsteps. It's going to break
Oh,
the
that's
script.
awesome.
They're not
Yeah.
anticipating, they're not
Yeah.
expecting that. So that becomes a memory. We normally don't do children's messages in our service, but we've added doing
Hmm.
children's messages as well. Chris has got some great ideas too as to how we've been breaking the script online to create some new memories.
Yeah, let's hear about it, Chris.
Yeah, so we've taken something that everybody loves here on campus, Tucker, our dear comfort dog, and we've added an opportunity for people to look for Tucker throughout every single broadcast, and that's been a really uplifting element to every worship space as children, and not only children but also adults are looking around to find Tucker. Just
Mm.
keeps that. Um, it keeps that relational piece
Mm-hmm.
still involved in the worship space.
Yeah.
So that's been a huge blessing. Um, Speaking to music, just like Drew was saying, we're still going to have antiphonal Easter style music as best as we possibly can. We're
Mm-hmm.
going to limit our numbers. Of course, nobody's going to be in attendance for that, but we are still going to bring our A game as much as possible. So
Yeah.
typically for Christ Lutheran, we have a full orchestra on Easter Sunday, and we blow it out of the water with music. And
Mm-hmm.
as at this time, we're not going to have a full orchestra. We'll have a limited band, and we'll add some brass for that special Easter music sound, is the sound of antiphonal trumpets and that sort of thing. So if you have the capability to maybe add a trumpet player to your repertoire, or
Mm-hmm.
whatever that looks like, I highly encourage it, because people want to connect with what they know as
Mm-hmm.
worshiping on Easter Sunday and those kind of sounds.
Mm-hmm.
And then also to pick songs that are safe songs for your congregation.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ is risen today. I know that my Redeemer lives. People, there's an expectation, I think, in our community that Easter songs are Easter songs, and
Yeah.
so you continue with that, but it means breaking the script on how you deliver it. Focus
Mm-hmm.
on like really great deliveries. Maybe cut down some of the long drawn out sections of the pieces. Try to keep the music engaging at all times.
Mm-hmm.
Use dynamics, as you know, as musicians and musicians out there. Really explore your dynamic range with live stream.
Yeah.
Make your softs, make your louds, and that sort of thing. That's going to really communicate well and passionately. And then also, we got to look up. I mean, I'm a victim of it too, but I like to keep
Yeah.
my eyes down on my music, but
Yeah.
that can get boring. So try to memorize as much as you can, put a
Mm.
smile on your face, and sing to the person in the seats.
Oh, I love it.
One of my buddies who got me into worship as a kid, John Vevia up north in Bend, Oregon, he released a really cool statement. For church at home, don't just sit there and receive, but actually participate. Sing when it's
Mm.
time to sing, and
Mm-hmm.
clap when it's time to clap, and react to church, because we know the power of the gospel, and we know the power of Jesus Christ. And so this isn't necessarily the Tonight Show, and it's not
Yes.
an opportunity for you to just sit back and kick your feet up, but actually get involved with worship, and um, almost pretend like you're there at your church, at your
Yeah.
home, right? You're at your home. So
Well, this just sounds like great advice all around, because basically you're taking what you've normally done, paring it down a little bit, getting the essential pieces in there, but the familiar pieces, right? It looks like what people are going to expect for Easter Sunday. And like you said, it's not the Tonight Show. This is not a film. It's not a movie. And I watched a couple of your other videos and watched how really you are looking up. You're looking into the camera. You're looking at the people who are looking at you, and that's going to become a much more engaging, I think, experience for everybody, for you and for them. And now it's more of a dialogue, right? Which is the way it should be anyway. We're not performing for people. We're together in worship. We're worshiping our God as one. So that's really amazing. I love to hear some of these different things that you're doing. Tell me, in the last few weeks, what's been something surprising to each of you? What has come out of this where you're like, whoa, didn't expect that at all? Wow, is God doing an amazing thing there?
I'm not going to be surprised when I think a lot of the modifications we've made organizationally are going to stick.
Yeah.
They're going to
Okay.
stay. I think the way that we're communicating with our congregation at large, I think it's going to stick. We're going to keep up with some of those. And I'll tell you something maybe that's been a little bit surprising is how many people are tuning in so regularly.
Mm.
I think we've created a rhythm. All of our churches have a certain rhythm of people, that go to church on Wednesday night or they'll go to church on Sunday morning. We have these certain rhythms, but we've found that we've just created new rhythms
Mm.
that people have actually been very, very receptive to. And anymore, we know that some of the people that are tuning in regularly are not just church people. There are a lot of our school families that never visited us on a Sunday morning, but now they're
Wow.
visiting
Wow.
every morning via live stream because it's easy
Hmm.
for them.
Hmm. That's amazing. What a blessing. That's huge. I do pray that continues. How about you, Chris?
well, and just to speak to that last comment that
Hmm.
Drew made, we have to make it really easy. Um,
Mhm.
on your website and your platforms, make it easy to connect with people, make it easy to tune in.
Mhm.
Like he was saying, establishing a rhythm every day at 9 a.m. And originally we were thinking, oh man, we might have bit off more than we can chew, but I think even Drew and I have found new joys every morning in worshiping with our congregation. We found through stories of our members that they really look forward to tuning in at 9 a.m. It's become part of their breakfast routine. It's become part of their morning devotionals. Whereas before, maybe they weren't picking up on those types of rhythms in their daily routine. They weren't opening their Bible every morning, maybe. But now that they know, no matter what, at 9 a.m. Pastor Drew and Chris, they're gonna be doing some opening worship and some word. And so I'm gonna make that a priority. And we're finding that's just been, that consistency has been really a great thing. So we're gonna
That's
continue
awesome.
doing that in the future, and supporting our congregation like that.
I love to hear that. I love to hear you're being centered in who God is in Christ and connected to one another in new ways, and that's exactly what God does in situations just like this, in crises just like this. So what a beautiful blessing! And you know what I really pray for, guys, is that on Easter Sunday, we in the warmer climates will have our windows and our doors open, and we'll be hearing people saying, "He is risen indeed," and we'll be hearing things like Christ is risen today and other hymns of Easter being sung out in our neighborhoods. Wouldn't
Mhm.
that just be amazing, right? That the
Mhm.
church living out in the neighborhoods all over the region. What a blessing that would be. So
And
I
I've,
want to thank you guys so
I was
much.
I was just going to add one more thing
Yeah, go for it.
to that comment. I think there's a lot of great idea around equipping the family to be
Mm,
the spiritual development in the home. And so
amen.
we've tried to focus turning this whole situation from being such a pit of life,
Mhm.
and trying to flip the script on that and make that a peak. So it just means equipping the families in the home to be the spiritual leaders. And so if we can do that well, I think that we're going to come out of this stronger as a Christian nation, as a Christian community. We're going to be a lot stronger.
Amen. From your mouth to God's ears. So that is our prayer. So thank you guys again so much. A blessed Holy Week to you and Easter, and look forward to all being together again once this is past. Amen. Amen. All right.
Absolutely.
So those of you who have watched this video, thank you so much for watching this one, and we're going to be creating a few more the next coming days. But look at the way that you're considering Holy Week and Easter, and if you have any questions, you can jump on our website psd-lcms.org, or contact myself. You can contact President Gibson. Our team is here and ready to help you, or contact Drew and Chris. I'm sure they're willing to talk to you as well. But thank you so much, and God bless you.